Sometimes in life, history repeats itself. Let's talk about football. Sometimes in football, a club, a CEO, a board member, a director of football, sometimes they make a mistake, and a few years later, they don't learn from their mistake, and they go on to make the same mistake again. And guess what, guys? They pay the same price. When speaking about Giorgio Furlani at Milan, let's just say when he took over, life didn't treat him the best. He was one of the people that sanctioned the move of Sandro Tonali from Milan to Newcastle. Tonali, everybody loves him. Scudetto winner. A player that bleeds black and red. A player that probably wanted to spend the rest of his career at Milan. But when the opportunity came to make ridiculous profits, Milan signed off on it. Now, what was the reason? What was the reason behind it? Sustainability. But what was the cost? The downfall of Milan. What was the cost? Death threats. Furlani has come out publicly and he's put it out there. The minute he sold Tonali to Newcastle, he received a surplus of death threats on social media, face to face, at the San Siro. He even came out and said he couldn't even go to a supermarket to buy a carton of milk without having security guards. He feared for his life. But I felt like maybe that would teach him a lesson, which is fair enough, sustainability might come first, and it's all about these fancy buzzwords that the accountants like to use. It's all about implementing a financial model where clubs can go on to grow commercially, make the profits, continue to growth. It's all about the economics. Allow it, please. Allow it. I studied accountancy. Don't lie to me. Anyways, listen. If you love the Serie A, if you love anything related to Italian football, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like. I would always appreciate it. Let's go back to Furlani. So let's just say life, it didn't start off the best. And this is why the title of the video is, are Milan about to make the same mistake once again? Now, I feel like football, it's all about cycles, okay? You have a few years in your favour where you're growing. You're beginning to maintain and build some dominance. It's all about capitalizing on the moment. It's all about continuing to add good players, to appoint good managers, to appoint good coaches, to appoint good sporting directors. It's all about seizing the opportunity and maintaining this growth. Do you know why this is so disappointing? Because it's being reported that Manchester City are long-term admirers of Tijjani Reijnders. And this is why I'm trying to compare it to Sandro Tonali, because it's now been two periods in the past 3-4 years where Milan have had a superstar on their hands. Milan have had a player that's performed out of their skin. Milan have had a midfielder that you could regard as one of the best midfielders in Europe. And listen, when you've got one of the best midfielders in Europe and there are clubs worldwide that are more ambitious than you, they will come for your most prized of assets. That is where it's most disappointing. Because as wild as it may sound, just look at this season in isolation. Manchester City are not where they belong. Manchester City are looking at themselves and telling themselves, we don't know who we are. This is not who we are. We have had a shocking season. We are trying to get back to where we belong. And in their eyes, they belong at the top of the Premier League. Now let's look at Milan. Milan are languishing in 9th. Milan are sat telling themselves, we are not where we belong. We would be lucky to get Europa League football this season. Do you know how crazy that is? Imagine somebody told you at the beginning of the season, with 7-8 games to go, Milan fans would be praying of Europa League. Because that's how bad their season was. I look at it and tell myself, it's two massive teams. Milan is way bigger than Manchester City. But it's two teams this season that have had very, very, very poor campaigns. Why are Manchester City more ambitious than Milan? Because Manchester City are already planning. Manchester City are more than happy to spend the funds. And fair enough, some might say Manchester City got more money. The finances of the Premier League, all of the financial packages, I completely understand. But Milan, over the past few years, the work that they've been doing behind the scenes and selling Tonali, raising funds, Milan financially are in a very, very, very good position. They don't need to sell Tijjani Reijnders for the reported 60-65 million. I want to speak on ambition. I want to speak on why are Milan, if they were to accept this offer, because it is being reported by a few reliable journalists, and the sad truth is there's some ground to this. Like, look, there's no smoke without fire. City have been chasing Tijjani Reijnders for the past 2 windows. And I feel like Milan might look at it and tell themselves, missing out on Champions League football, we've now just missed out on a financial package. We need to make it up. Potentially 40, 45, maybe even 50 million profit on a Tijjani Reijnders that you signed 2 years ago for 20 million from AZ Alkmaar. They're probably looking at it and telling themselves, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And the crazy thing is, Giorgio Furlani, just a few months ago, came out and said, you never know. We might have another case similar to Tonali, where a superstar leaves in order to raise funds. For me, it's disappointing because, once again, I want to speak on why Milan, if they were to accept, aren't as ambitious as Manchester City. Both of these teams have had poor campaigns. But Manchester City are looking to rectify their wrongs. They're looking to spend heavy to take themselves back up the table. Milan, you've got a superstar. You've got a player that's regarded as one of the best midfielders in Europe. When you've got one of the best players, clubs will want them. But what you need to do is retain your best of players. Keep your superstars and build around them. Because that's how you, Milan, are going to take yourself back to where you belong. Maybe in your eyes, selling them off to Manchester City go back to where they belong. Maybe go and win another Champions League. Maybe go and win another Premier League. It doesn't interfere with you. They're in England, you're in Italy. But your growth will take 5 steps backwards. And that's why, for me, it's disappointing. If I see Milan accept this offer, I'll just be like, listen, you know what? You guys are not as ambitious as you tell the world you are. Maybe you guys are ambitious in growing the club commercially, getting the brand deals, getting the sponsorships. How ambitious are you on the football field? Because any ambitious club would look at all of its most prized of assets, will look at every single one of its superstars, every single one of its good players, and tell them, you are not leaving, okay? You're not leaving, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and get you 2, 3, 4 more good players to help you take this team from 9th into 4th, to help you take this team from 4th into 2nd, to help you take this team from 2nd into 1st, into being a Scudetto winner. That's what the best of teams do. You don't sell your most prized of assets. Do I think this move will go through? One part of me seriously feels like if an offer of 65, 70 million, potentially 45, 50 million pound of profits gets put on Milan's table, I feel like Milan will accept it. It pains me to say Tijjani Reijnders is one of my favourite of players. I think they will accept it because in their eyes, that's an extra 50 million that now we can reinvest in the squad. No, the finances are there. You can spend. You don't even have to spend heavy to improve your team. How many times across the world do you see teams sign players for 10, 15, 20 million? And after one season, with the right development, with the right coach, within the right environment, the correct ecosystem, you see them grow, flourish, become better. For me, if I was a Milan board member, I would turn around and say, listen, my best of players are untouchable because these are the players that are going to help me in getting back to where I belong. It's not a matter of money. It's a matter of ambition. It's a matter of growth. It's a matter of keeping players that I know will be very, very, very difficult to replace. And for me, I don't know what you guys make on it, but it will definitely be 50 steps backwards if Milan go on to accept this deal. And listen, guys, like I told you, the accounting buzzwords will come out. It's all about sustainability, implementing a financial model. It's all about supply and demand, the profits, the economics of the country. Listen, if you're somebody that's into the politics of football, you might find that enjoyable. If you're somebody like me that's into the football played on the pitch, you don't care about any of that stuff. And I know for a damn fact, Milan's finances are not as bad as some of the other clubs in the Serie A. Milan can afford to keep every single one of their superstars this summer and still go on to sign better players that can improve the team collectively. But will Milan make the same mistake again? And will they, in my opinion, pay the same price once again? Time will tell. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. And I'll catch you guys on another one.